everybody, welcome to day 16 of our 30 days toward creating a family ministry plan for your church. Again, my name's Tommy, and we're with Ron Hunter, who is the author of The DNA of D6. And just before we get started, Ron, I would love to share with you what Jason Collier from Dallas Baptist University said about your book. He said, "This book vividly illustrates the power of parental influence and generational discipleship in raising children to be followers of Jesus." So to kick us off on day 16, you had mentioned how preparing to do family ministry well involves a change of mindset, but does it also involve a change of staffing, as in volunteers or paid staff?
It really does. You know, when we think about the lead pastor or the senior pastor, they're kind of like the coach of the entire team, whether it's volunteers or staff. And let's go back to the words of Vince Lombardi, that great coach, when he said, "We don't need to succumb to excuses." He hated excuses. He said, "We need to form the right habits and make the right corrections." So the question is, let's look at our staff, let's look at our volunteers and go, if we're going to focus on church and home, what do we need to shift? You probably have the talent pool. And if we're really honest with ourselves and we look at this as a draft, get with your staff and your volunteers and say, let's pretend we're going to build this all over today. Where would we put people? And remove the hurt feelings. We don't need to compromise the integrity of the organization over hurting one person's feelings. And when we say that out loud, then we can begin to draft and put people in the right positions. And remember, the lead pastor does make the key calls. Think about the Super Bowl of 2015. They were on literally in the red zone there, ready to just run it right across the goal. And the call was put in to make a pass play rather than a run play. No matter how much talent you have on the field, if the pastor's not willing to make the correct call, will not execute properly. God does equip everyone, but he does not equip everyone equally. Let's be honest, as we grow, sometimes we need to shift positions and move people around. And one of the best ways we can do this is to assess people every 2 or 3 years with a spiritual gifts assessment. And when we do that, then we know where we can put people. So take a spiritual gifts assessment of your staff, your volunteers, and then other people who are not even working, so you recognize the pool of talent, and then say, if we're drafting, where will we put them? And celebrate those people that we have working and volunteering with us.
Well, that sounds like the perfect takeaway for us today. So let's revolve the takeaway on day 16 around the word draft, meaning are we putting the right people in the right places? Or are we just putting them in places out of, it's just most convenient for us? Or does it involve their passions, even their spiritual gifts? Maybe you don't know exactly how to assess that, and so we would just say allow us to help you by going to d6family.com/DNA, and on that website you'll not only find the DNA of D6, but you'll find a free spiritual gifts assessment. It's not the only assessment you can find out there for spiritual gifts, but it is a very thorough one. It involves 22 spiritual gifts. We think you're going to really find it helpful. So check that out on there, and we'll see you tomorrow on day 17.